Aerosol. Oh, wow. It looks like the stream was deleted from Facebook, but good morning, you guys. This is Memorial Day weekend, and we are going to talk about veteran survivor benefits coming right up, right after this.
Air Assault. Hello, friends, and welcome to Shero Coffee Chat. We hope you've had a great week, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a full cup ahead, so grab your Shero coffee, because we're taking a spin around the Shero resource table. Plus, we've got your chat, tip, and guest of the week. Let's give a big shout out to our host, Melissa Farmer Hill, Army Combat Veteran, host of Shero Coffee Chat, and founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. And now, reporting for duty and ready to lead the conversation, Melissa Farmer Hill.
Aerosol. Good morning, friends. Happy Sunday. Did you hear I said that? Morning. Morning. Good morning. Yes, I am Melissa Farmer Hill, Army retired veteran, founder of Shero Coffee Club, and the host of Shero Coffee Chat. As you can tell by my intro, everything's moving around in a strange way this morning, but we're going to keep pressing through. If you are on Facebook, if you watch us on Facebook, it's not allowing us. It says it looks like the stream was deleted on Facebook, trying to create a new stream or just remove this destination. No, I want Facebook to see what we have to say. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but we're going to keep pressing forward. Today is Memorial Day weekend, and a lot of people don't understand, what Memorial Day means. And Memorial Day is not for the veteran that you see. Like you would never tell me you should not. Protocol. Let's talk protocol, because anytime anyone tells me thank you for your service, it is always an honor and a blessing to receive that acknowledgement. However, Memorial Day are for those who are no longer with us, who died while serving. It could be also in remembrance of your veteran that you know who has also passed away. Like the thing says, all people who served, some gave. All gave some, but some gave all. And some gave all is that ultimate sacrifice, death. So that's what they mean when you hear that phrase, some gave all gave some, but some gave all. And we use Memorial Day as a time for remembrance and gratitude, and just, to honor that one veteran or that one service member who died during combat or died while serving. It's really a reflection, right? A reflection on the cost of freedom, because as we are learning, freedom is not free. And I don't know why, that resonates so much in the times that we are living in now, that freedom is not free. Everything has a cost. Everything has a cost. All right, we are going to get into the show. I don't know if Jane is having some issues. I'm trying to see if I could find her, because today we are going to talk about survival benefits, those who have lost their loved ones. If you don't know, in January, I lost my father-in-law, and he was an Air Force veteran. And watching my mother-in-law go through that process, there were challenges going through that process, especially like for instance, we have like everyone knows I'm a lifetime member of the VFW Post 311. Shout out to VFW Post 311, Richmond Park, Illinois. A lot of people, you may, they know that their loved one is a, I think if I, oh, there you are. I see Jane. Jane just, she's in the studio now, but, but let me just finish saying this. So you guys know I'm a lifetime member of VFW Post 311 in Richmond Park, Illinois. And I will tell you, many times if you're just the veteran who served, the spouse, whoever the spouse is, whether it be a male or a female, they don't know what happens. They just know my significant other is receiving, retirement benefits, or my significant other is receiving medical benefits. And then what happens when that veteran passes away? They don't know. They just know that, their loved one who is a veteran is collecting a check. And so now they have to get smart really fast. And it's during a time where it's not the most ideal time, right, to get smart really fast. And that's why Jane Babcock is here today. I already gave it away. Darn it. She's here today so we can talk about it, because it is something that's happening all the time. And we definitely want the survivors to have this on replay so you can watch it if that ever happens. I think it's very important that you have that information, because it's, when you lose a loved one, there's already the stress there, and now you got to figure it out. And we don't want that to happen. And Jane most definitely doesn't want that to happen. So she's here today. I'm going to read her bio. You guys, she is not a stranger to this show. You all absolutely know how I feel about this woman. She is smart, and what she's not a gatekeeper. And that's what we need less of. We need less gatekeepers. She's going to give you the information. And it's not too much. And I'm gonna toot her horn. It ain't too much she doesn't know about these veteran benefits. You know what? And if she doesn't know it, she'll find it out just like that. I'm telling you, she is definitely a beloved guest of this show. I'm going to read her bio to you, and we are going to bring her on, because today we are talking about survivor benefits. And this is what families need to know in the loss of a loved one. All right. Jane Babcock is retired Sergeant First Class. For those who don't know, E7, like that's gonna make you know, right? Sergeant First Class. She served, you guys, from 1982 to 2004, and she retired. She's also retired from the County Veteran Service Officer. Now, listen to this. Listen to this tidbit. She served in both active duty and USAR, United States Army Reserve, having now. It's hard for me to keep up with the one, but listen to this, guys. Having four DD-214s, totaling 8.5 years and 13 years in the Army Reserve. So thank you for your service, Jane. She spent 11.5 years. Wait, she didn't stop there. She spent 11.5 years as a CVSO. Like I said before, that's a County Veteran Service Officer, assisting veterans and their survivors, you guys. She knows this stuff, and obtaining their VA benefits. She's helped file over 1,200. I'm going to pause right there, because that's nothing to just glance over. 1,200 people. 1,200 families, 1,200 people who may have not gotten the benefits they needed had it not been for Jane. Yes. 1,200 claims. You guys, that is really a high initial claim award rate. That's really wonderful. Now, thank goodness. What a blessing. She reaches and teaches VA benefits mostly on LinkedIn. You can find her on LinkedIn. She's Jane Babcock, JaneBabcock. And I'll have her information in the ticker as well. She serves as a volunteer. How wonderful, right? It doesn't get any better than that. Now, whether she's sharing her tools or doing one on one calls with veterans, guesting on podcasts, or during viral and in person classes, she is impacting lives. Again, you guys, she is no stranger to the show. We absolutely love when she comes on because she gives gems and valued information that we can take right away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jane Babcock.
Boy, amazing. I am impressed myself listening to you.
Jane, because guess what? You gotta know. Every time I see you, I will give you your flowers because I've heard personally of some of the stories of how you've helped families and changed families' lives. And you know what? If that's one of the most things that's needed today. How can people get benefits? I mean, with inflation, with gas, I mean, with everything that's going on, for you to be able to do life changing work, Jane, it deserves one of the highest honors. And I just want to say thank you because you're you and you're volunteering. Look, look, I'm going to go on and on and on, but here's the thing: you're volunteering, and most people out there, they want to get paid. They want to figure out a way to get paid from from them helping veterans. You've got lawyers out there that helping people, but still taking your benefits because they want to get paid. But you are doing it as a volunteer, and that speaks volumes because you're a rare gem. There are not a lot of people that just want to give the information. They don't gatekeep and hide it and save it. And so I just definitely want you to know that you are beloved on this show. And thank you so much for coming. And Jane, I just want to get well. This is one of the questions that I had when I was reading over your bio. A CVSO. Can you explain? Like, people know VSOs. What is a CVSO? Can you kind of distinguish that?
Sure. It requires all the same qualifications, the training, the testing, the annual training, the background check, the written agreement with VA that you will not charge. You can lose your accreditation
Hmm.
if you charge. And that
Wow.
means you lose your ability to reach inside the VA's computer system, the claims system, to see what's going on with the claim. It means you
Yeah.
can lose your liaison inside the VA that you can call
Yeah.
up and say, "Hey, Marty, my guy just got a cancer
Hmm.
diagnosis. I need you to expedite this claim."
Wow.
So that's a lot of valuable assets that a VSO or CVSO or TVSO, Tribal Veteran Service Officer, can reach out to and get a hold of to advance cases, to argue cases, to correct
Hmm.
cases.
Yeah.
Uh, my assistant, she, um, I sent her off to training on purpose because I wanted her to have that same access.
Yeah.
And she could go into the system and she could watch a case as it progressed. And oh my God, they had an ear, nose, and throat guy do this guy's knee exam.
Yeah.
And it was not a favorable exam. We
Wow.
could catch that in the process and call it VA and say, no, 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 you have to reschedule another exam with an orthopedic
Yeah.
so that we could try and
Wonderful.
get it moved into a more favorable position on the claim. So,
Wow. So again, thank you just for what you do and just helping us understand. And I just want to touch on this and then we will definitely get into um, survivor benefits about people who are paying, because every time you come on, I want you to let them know, should they be paying a lawyer, or is there a good time when they should be paying someone for services that are actually is a benefit to them for free? Can you please just kind of break that down for us, and then we'll get into the survivor benefits.
yes, just this week, the VA, the court, the one of the Supreme Courts down in North Carolina, I believe it was, just put veterans guardians. They were pre-trial hearings and stuff,
Yeah.
and they are moving forward to a trial. Veterans Guardian tried to argue, oh, no, 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 we just advise veterans. We don't
Right.
process their claims. And yet the evidence was irrefutable that they were processing claims and submitting them on behalf of veterans. And sometimes those exams, the Nexus exams that doctors were doing, were duplicate from one guy to the next guy. And it's like, hold on, you
Right.
just changed two words, and that doesn't
Right.
change the description
Mhm.
of this
Yeah.
injury and whether or not it's service connected.
Right.
So that's what triggered VA to look at these cases and say, wait a minute, this is too much cut and paste.
Right. There are a
So,
lot of I was gonna say there are a lot of benefit sharks out
mhm.
there who are just waiting for you to get frustrated with the process because the going through the VA process, VSO and things like that,
Oh,
it can be frustrating, right? And you
yes,
could
it can.
give up or just say, "Oh, a lawyer will get through this faster." But yeah, guess what? I don't know if the lawyer can get through it faster, but you definitely will be out of more money than you would actually be had
Yes.
you gone through the process.
Yes. County, state, and tribal VSOs, Veteran Service Officers, that are accredited. And you can actually look up on the VA website the
Mhm,
accreditation list. You can,
mhm,
put in your city, your state, things like that. You can find out by specific organizations, VFW,
mhm,
DAV, American Legion, all the major um, chartered veteran service organizations. I,
mhm,
as a county paid employee,
mhm.
was cross accredited with five of the national
Oh,
organizations.
wow. Mhm.
So I could file claims. If I came in and said, "Oh, I'm part of the VFW," I go, "Okay, well, let's file your claim under the VFW. Give them
Yeah.
quote credit for the work."
Right, right.
And yes, there are times you need a lawyer,
Mhm.
and maybe occasionally you need a claims agent. But there's
Yeah.
enough VSOs out there that are free,
Yeah.
and so I have used a lawyer, one particular lawyer.
Mhm.
Her name is Katrina Eagle out in California at Eagle Law.
Shout
She
out
was
to Katrina at Eagle Law. Anytime someone mentions someone's name, I want them to know about it on the show. So shout out to her.
yes, this woman is amazing. She taught at our national training conferences,
Mhm.
and she taught the advanced appeals and things like that. So she was very up there in knowledge, and
Yeah.
she's been a VA lawyer for 25 plus years,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and at least that long. And I had taken a case on which was a Vietnam veteran and brain cancer. And this was before the PACT Act, which put brain cancer on the burn pit list, but did not put it on the Agent Orange list. And
Mm.
I had multiple cases where VA had denied us. Well, in this particular case, at the advanced course the summer before, she was talking about having a genetic oncologist do
Wow.
opinions, do the testing and opinions. And so I thought, oh, I wonder if they could do that on this guy's brain cancer and see if the tests will show. So that's what I did. I did my first case, put an expedite on the claim, contacted my liaison in the VA, said, obviously brain cancer is terminal. This guy will be gone in a couple months.
Yeah.
And so he advanced it. And 2 weeks later, we got our denial. We expected that.
Mm. Okay.
It was not
All right.
presumptive. Sent in our first appeal, got our denial in 2 weeks. Handed him off to Katrina, who was already in contact with the veteran and
Mhm.
talking through his case. And they took his blood, and her genetic oncologist broke it down to the genome level and said there are no cancer markers in this man. He should never have developed cancer. So the only thing
Wow.
it could be is an outside influence.
Yeah.
What's the major influence in his life? His Agent Orange exposure.
Yeah.
And he actually cited studies from all over the world where they're studying brain cancer, glioblastoma
Mhm.
specifically, as an Agent Orange issue, the carcinogens that are in Agent Orange. And so they were studying those carcinogens. And so he presented it on a 25-page Nexus letter. And with it, she advanced it on the Board of Appeals docket because of his terminal status.
Mhm.
And 2 months later, we had the award for him, and 2 months later, unfortunately, we did his widow's survivor benefits.
Wow, but I have to give a because that took some really creative thinking.
Mhm.
And then, of course, and he finally got his benefits. But then the other thing is that although he did pass, 2 months later, his wife got those benefits.
Yes. Yeah,
And
he was able to be mentally and emotionally supported in the idea that his wife was not going to be living below poverty.
wow, that's that's of course he died, he passed away, transitioned, but that is a good story for surviving spouses, survivor benefits, which is what we are talking about today. So, Jane, what, in your opinion, what do families underestimate most after losing their their veteran?
Well, basically, it's just the fact that there's VA benefits that they are potentially eligible for. The Right now, 600, less than 600,000 widows receive benefits, whether it's compensation, pension. Most people don't know that there's a stipend if a veteran even has a 0% rating. There's a funeral and plot stipend,
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
could be over
Mhm.
$2,000.
Mhm. Mhm.
But oh, he had minor hearing loss, and maybe he
Yeah.
did or didn't receive any money. Maybe he was rated 0. In other words, we damaged you, but not enough to impact your quality of life.
Right.
So they never ask.
Yeah.
There are surviving families and spouses out there that don't understand that there's life insurance. Maybe they married their veteran later in life
Mhm. Mhm.
and he paid in on his insurance. Well, he's paid 30 years. He no longer makes payments. So maybe she's not even aware that he has this life insurance policy
Yeah.
and they've never contacted the VA. Well,
Right.
I hate to say it, but in today's technology, shame on the VA because they have the ability to see that this veteran filed joint returns. Oh,
Yeah.
there must be a spouse. Or he claimed dependents on his IRS forms, 20 years ago. Well, that means there's children out there.
Absolutely.
And yet, but again, I always say the first failure in VA is their lack of education. They don't
Mhm.
reach out on national platforms like TV and radio,
Mhm.
where our oldest, sickest, homeless, and others might hear.
Mhm.
If you call the VA right now and you ask for a federal benefits handbook, they tell you to go on the internet. They printed them in 2024, but in January of 2025, they stopped distributing them.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. A certain executive order prevented the federal government from issuing any documents that talk about benefits for LGBTQ or trans people.
Mhm.
And since it was
I
mentioned in
remember
our,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
our mentioned trans is mentioned once, I think, and LGBTQ is printed once in the 2025 federal benefits book.
And so they stopped
So,
it just
yeah,
because.
they sat in warehouses. I don't know if they've destroyed them by now, but
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of cases.
Mhm.
But then Doge came in and said, "Oh, well, federal government with the internet, we don't need to print things anymore."
Of course.
Yeah, like that's going to help the 87-year-old,
Right.
Vietnam Korean War veteran. Not at all, and certainly not his surviving spouse.
No.
She
No.
thinks VA veteran.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the first point of failure.
Wow. And so what do you think are just some of the biggest misconceptions about VA survivor benefits? Do you think there are any misconceptions out there?
Oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. In my 11 and a half years, I never had a widow or veteran or spouse say, "Yes, I know ALS is a presumptive." ALS veterans are
Uh-huh.
twice as likely to develop it.
What is ALS?
Lou Gehrig's disease?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
just for
Oh,
people who may not know. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
multiple sclerosis, MS. if it's diagnosed within 7 years of leaving active duty, and that can be argued longer based on symptomology,
Mhm.
that's also a presumptive. All branches, all periods of service, things like this.
Yeah.
There's a list of things,
Mhm.
if you're diagnosed with chronic anemia in service, that's a presumptive. And it may come and go. So when you get ready to leave, it may not be there. Maybe 3 years after you left service, it's still not there. But 10 years after service, it's all of a sudden back again.
Yeah.
But if you don't know these things are presumptive, how do you file for something you don't know exists?
Right.
So I always, one of the first things I did as a CDSO is I went down the hall to my coroner and I said, "You know about this list, right?" And he said, "No." So I went down the hall and I trained him and his staff about the compensation, and I also taught them about the War Veterans Pension Program.
Mhm.
And so it got to the point where in the state of Wisconsin, there's a checkbox, veteran yes or no on our death certificates. So he
Mhm.
would ask the families. And so it got to the point where I just gave him a box of my business cards and said, here, every time they say yes to veteran, hand them a card, tell them to come in and check because maybe all they need is and are entitled to is the free headstone.
Mhm.
Families can't afford a headstone, we can get one from the VA for them.
Right.
So, and maybe, okay, he was rated 0% for hearing loss. Now I can put him in for that funeral and burial stipend,
Mhm.
that plot allowance. Could you imagine? The plot cost $800 and you get
Right.
your $800 back?
Right. That's that helps.
Yep.
Everything
Yep.
helps. No, you know what? You said something that kind of, I don't know, just struck a chord with me. I kind of want to explore it. And you may or may not know. You talked about, I think, is this the coroner in Wisconsin? They have a checkbox
Hmm.
that says, "Are you a veteran? Yes or no?" And I think this was at the last MIC. Someone told me that every state does not have that checkbox, whether they identify this person who's deceased now as a veteran or not. And then when are you aware of that, or do
Yeah.
you know? I don't know if we could speak to it because I don't, I just heard it. It's hearsay. So did you know about that?
Oh, yeah. State laws change from state to state. But remember, the VA, the federal VA,
Mhm.
is a federal program, meaning it touches every single state,
Right.
even territories, Puerto Rico and things like that, are but under the same rules.
Okay.
So when you're talking federal VA, now when you're talking state benefits,
Yeah.
that's state by state by law.
Okay. All
So,
right.
um, just you have to know your VSO.
Gotcha.
32 states mandate that there be a veteran service office in every
Mhm.
county.
Mhm.
So check your county first. Check your
Okay.
county government because obviously you want to work with a neighbor.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And then if not, then your state Department of Veterans Affairs or state military affairs, they have VSOs.
Okay.
At the regional offices and in some larger cities, national associations like DAV and VFW will have offices.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you live near a regional office, go to the regional office.
Yeah.
But if you don't live near the regional office, like you're 4 hours away, which is easily done here in the state of Wisconsin,
Mhm.
then go to your county guy. And if
Okay.
you're not happy with that county person, if they're not being responsive, if you don't feel like they're assisting you to the appropriate level of your need,
Mhm.
go to their boss and report them. Is it a matter of there's not enough staff, which is not the VSO's fault, but or is it the VSO is part of the old boy syndrome? It's kind of like you walk in, he goes, "Oh, here's the forms, go fill them out and bring them back." That's not appropriate.
Yeah. Jane, that was powerful. You said go to your boss and report him. And
Mhm.
you know what? And I've got more questions that I want to get to, but it just it just reminds me, how a lot of times we just accept, right? we just accept these things. Like you get bad customer service at a restaurant, the food is not to your liking. That's just, an easy example, one that, low hanging fruit. But we don't say anything, and we live with this. Like you said, you have a right to report when you are not receiving service, if someone's not being responsive, and it's not, oh, their job or whatever. Well, they should be doing their job, and they know what their responsibilities are in that position. So if you're not receiving that, go report them. So thank you, Jane. All right. Now, let's talk about the actual benefits. So, what are VA survivor benefits and who qualifies for them? Because that's important.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start out with the basic military memorial honors.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things like getting the flag for the casket or having it folded in a tri-corner to sit next to the urn, things like that. Again, sometimes it's the VSO that provides it to the funeral home, and some funeral homes order it directly from the federal government. So the flag will be there to honor your veteran. You also have headstones, bronze markers. They could be a small plaque or they could be the long plaque that can be put on a headstone. Or
Mm-hmm.
in the case of one of my families, they couldn't afford a headstone and they didn't want one of the stone ones because they had to be flat to the ground
Yeah.
in this particular cemetery. So
Mm-hmm.
they put in a cement slab and had the bronze marker attached to it.
Mm. Yeah.
So other times it's a case of a veteran dies under a situation where there's no plot available for them and they'll put them on their parents' plot. Well, then they'd get the
Mm-hmm.
smaller one and attach it to the headstone, possibly in the front if there's room or on the back of the headstone. We just went out and put out over 2,000 flags in one of our cemeteries yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And we walked through and we put them in the flag holders that we have
Mm-hmm.
next to each headstone. But then when we get done, we all line up in the back and walk back to see if there's any with bronze markers on the back of the stone that didn't
Ah,
have a flag holder.
yeah.
And we found probably half a dozen of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get a holder and put it in the ground for it. And then, but
Wow.
those are just such easy tributes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind, these benefits weren't created some until the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Right.
So sometimes the person earlier on may not be eligible for that big bronze marker,
Mm-hmm.
but probably a good 10, 15 years ago, they created a thing called a medallion. And it
Mm-hmm.
comes in three sizes. It could be very small or it could be rather large.
Yeah.
And it shows the tri-corner flag, the laurel wreath, and the branch of service they were in. So that could
Beautiful.
be attached to the front of the headstone, or it
Yeah.
could be attached to one of these drawers in a columbarium where they have remains.
Mm-hmm. That
And
is wonderful.
everybody's eligible for that as long as they meet the eligibility as far as time in service and then
Mm-hmm.
not a dishonorable discharge and things like that.
Wow.
So
Wonderful.
if your
Mm-hmm.
person died in the 60s, they may not be able to get the big bronze marker, but they can get that medallion.
Yeah. So there's something for everyone. So you just have to
Mhm.
kind of investigate to see what you qualify for. And speaking of that, let's talk about the impact of VA rating. Does that impact survivor benefits? I think you touched on the hearing earlier, but yeah, does that impact the survivor benefits? The VA
Not,
rating.
yeah, not on the memorial honor side. You can still
Mhm.
get a plot, a headstone, medallion, funeral stipend if you have any rating.
Mhm.
And we mentioned the insurance. So those are your memorial honors. But when it comes to compensation, yes, that can be so important.
Oh wow.
Like I said, I worked with the coroner, so they would call me every time and say, "Here's a guy, and he passed away, and what do I need to know about him?" Well, yes, he's a veteran, and B, check the family to see if any of the Agent Orange presumptives,
Mm.
if he had
Yeah.
any of those, and those things
Yeah.
contributed to his death, hastened his death. He couldn't fight the pneumonia because he had uncontrollable type 2 diabetes. He'd been
Right.
treated for two cancers that are on the list.
Mhm.
His immune system was compromised. That made his death happen sooner
Mm.
than
Yeah.
it should have. So they
Absolutely.
could put it on the death certificate and I could get her DSE.
Wonderful. What's DSE?
Dependent indemnity compensation. That is
Oh,
the
okay.
compensation for a survivor
Yeah.
if the veteran's death is related to service. It does not have to be direct cause.
Okay. Yeah. I was
In
gonna
fact,
ask. Uh-huh. Go
there are
ahead. I'm
times
I'm
when
listening.
it doesn't have to be even related to service. If a veteran comes out of the military today and he's
Mhm.
rated 100%
Yeah.
and he passes in the next 5 years, might be a
Yeah.
motorcycle accident,
Yeah.
he still, his spouse, if she's been married to him since he was in service,
Mhm.
after 5 years is entitled to the IC, even if it was unrelated death.
Mhm.
Inside that 5 year window, she's not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it's a veteran that gets their 100% rating at the age of 50,
Yeah.
well, if they've been married for 8 years prior to his death and he's
Mhm.
got 100% for those 8 years, again, it could be a motorcycle accident,
Yeah. Yeah.
in which
And
the
that's
IC.
that's one of the questions that I had. What's the difference between the DIC, the survivor pension, and aid in attendance? Because all of those things matters as well.
Right. Now, in order to receive DIC, you must have been married to the veteran for at least 1 year.
Mhm.
And this is where that 8, 10 year window comes in. Because if you've only been married to the veteran for 2 years or over a year, but he's been 100% for 8 years, you're not going to be DIC eligible unless it's actually contributed to by service.
Mhm.
But at 10 years, even if you've only been married for 1 year, that surviving spouse is entitled to DIC. So if you've been
Yeah.
married for 8 plus years, you can get it at 8 years. If you've only been married for 1 year, or
Yeah.
in this case, 3 years, you're going to get it at 10 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a sliding scale at which once the veteran passes that 10-year mark,
Mhm.
then the surviving spouse of at least 1 year will be eligible for DIC and eligible for enhanced DIC. The
Oh.
8 year widow, 8 year 100%er is
Yeah.
eligible for enhanced DIC, which I it's the difference between 1650 and just over 2000.
Okay. All right.
So that's 357, I think it is,
Mhm.
$357 difference. So at 10 years, again, the 1 year marriage rule applies. Enhanced DIC applies,
Yeah.
but you got to tell the VA you're filing for enhanced DIC.
Okay.
Some of those readers are either new on the job or lackadaisical, and they don't look. So more than once, I had to go back and say, "Hey, wait a minute! The guy was 100% for 15 years. She's entitled to enhanced DIC." Oh, yeah, we didn't notice that. They'd only been married for 4 years.
Right.
Oh, no, 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 no. You got to give her that other $350 a month.
Yeah.
So I would always write in big, bold magic marker letters on the top of the form, enhanced DIC.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That way it was no question.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so let's talk about I can't believe the time, but I do want to continue just a little bit longer. What documents should, and I think this is like one of the most important things, what documents should families have ready, before the crisis happens?
Well, that's where that relationship with the VSO comes.
Gotcha.
Anytime a VSO opens a claim, they should be submitting the marriage certificate, birth
Mhm.
certificates, anything like that. Even if they know that the veteran is going to get a 10% rating, I used to submit the
Mm.
documents because that way
Mhm.
it's in the record at VA.
Yeah.
So VA will, oh, we got a report of death. Oh, we see that there's a spouse. Let's, send that spouse a letter saying, hey, you may be eligible for benefits. Go see your
Mhm.
local VSO or whoever. So always, always, always make sure the VA is up to date. Same thing in that if your marriage status changes.
Oh.
I saw many veterans rated at 50% that were getting dependent pay and they've
Mhm.
gotten divorced.
Yeah. I
And
seen that
3 years,
on the active side of the house with the DD 214 because that's the that's just for those who don't know, that's the insurance form for the military, and it's a legal excuse me, it's a legal and binding document. And so
Yep.
people have gotten remarried and have changed their lives all over, but guess what? If you pass away while you're deployed or while you're on active duty military, that DD 214 is still legal and binding, and they have to abide by that.
Yeah, when it comes to SGLI or
Yeah.
VGLI, the
Mhm.
Veterans Group Life Insurance, or any of that kind of stuff, and
I know
all
I
the
said
the
DD 214, didn't I?
yeah,
I meant
yeah,
SG.
yeah,
Right, right.
I knew what you meant, girl.
Right. Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's the same thing in the VA, and then all of a sudden the VA is going, "Oh, you owe us 3 years of dependent payback.
Mhm.
We're going to cut off your benefit for the next 3 or 4 months, or whatever, however
Wow.
long it would take to get recoupment."
Yeah.
Well, if you're counting on that to make the mortgage payment, that could be painful. So
Very.
always keep the
Yeah.
VA up to date. It's like
Okay.
always keeping the VA up to date. If you retire, you want to go in and tell the healthcare side of the house because maybe that eliminates some of your copays. But
Mhm.
one of the other programs that I really, really, really want veterans and spouses to understand is out there
Yeah.
is called Veterans and Survivors Non-Service Connected Pension. The NSC pension is an income-based program that both veterans and surviving spouses, if the veteran served during wartime. He doesn't have to be in a combat zone or any of that. He just has to be in active duty during wartime.
Right.
So
I
the
had
VA,
no idea. So this what's it called? Let's repeat that so people will know.
yep, it's the
NSC. Yeah.
VA's NSC, non-service connected pension.
Mhm.
Veterans and surviving spouses are eligible to use it. And what they do is they say, okay, what's your household income? Now we're going to subtract off health insurance premiums, cancer insurance premium, dental
Wow.
insurance premium. We're going to subtract off dental bills you paid last month. Um, my older folks, protective undergarments, even
Mhm.
toothpaste
Mhm.
can be subtracted off
Wow.
because it's a care of your body.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
and that's household. So maybe the veteran's really healthy, but the spouse isn't.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe she's got in-home care services,
Mhm. Mhm.
or guys, I'm a guy when it comes to the military service. When I
Yeah.
lived in a tent with 28 guys, I wanted to be one of the guys. So
Yeah.
I don't refer to us very often by gender.
Okay.
So the spouse has the medical expenses. So you subtract all those medical expenses off and you go, oh, wow, they're living below poverty.
Mhm.
The VA will supplement their income. Maybe it's $35 a month. Maybe it's $1,800 a month.
Right.
So they're going to do that. When either or is got major in-home care services or
Mhm.
assisted living or anything like that, generally speaking, in most people's cases, that means that income is upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the only other thing the VA looks at is liquefiable assets. They do not count the home. They do not count the car. They do not count the personal belongings inside your home. They will look at things like bank accounts,
Mhm.
investments, and things like that. If your
Mhm.
investment is such that it's in this particular type of account,
Mhm.
it says on paper it's worth $100,000, but if you draw it out tomorrow, you only get 80.
Mhm.
It's the 80 that counts. If you were
Yeah.
having to take all your different accounts and put them into a pile on the kitchen table, what do you have? Now that's the same thing. Medicaid does the same thing, only you have to get down to $2,000 for an individual to get on Medicaid.
Okay.
The VA starts at $159,000. So you have $159,000 in the bank, your income is going out to assisted living.
Mhm.
That can mean over $2,000 a month for a veteran, a married
Yeah.
veteran. It can mean over $1,800 for a sick spouse.
Yeah.
Well, and people say, well, that's not fair that all their living expenses are coming off the VA. No, no,
Mhm.
no. Again, it's that ratio thing,
Yeah.
but it doesn't keep their savings. It just extends how long, because now instead of taking out $3,000 a month, or they're taking out $3,000 a month for their assisted living instead of 5,000.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a
So
big difference.
yeah, their bank
Yeah.
accounts are still dwindling, just at a
Yeah.
slower rate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
And
was oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
minuscule.
I
That's okay. It's
mhm.
very few veterans are receiving it, but there are millions out there eligible for it.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say that I'm thankful uh that it's not a perfect system,
Mm.
but it's a system that does honor, and it didn't always honor that veteran who served or their family members. It's kind of like, nowadays corporations will discard you. And so I always say serving is a gift that keeps on giving, because it has been there are benefits that have been really thought out. Now, of course, we have our, challenges and things like that. It's not a perfect system again, but it is a system that I would say compared to corporations
Oh yes, yes.
helps
But every
tremendously.
military member put on the bottom line,
Yeah.
Uncle Sam, I will go anywhere you tell me to.
Yeah.
I will leave everybody I know, love,
Right.
everything that's familiar,
Yeah.
and if necessary, I
Mhm.
will give up my life so that
Yeah.
others can keep their rights.
And that's why they deserve it. We deserve it. We deserve it as veterans. We
Yes.
really do. We really do,
Yes.
because you don't have to sign that away in a job, right? Unless,
Oh,
right? You don't.
yeah,
You
you
don't.
can walk away from that job.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't. Just call in sick or just quit in the military. So yes. So what mistakes might delay or hurt survivor benefits claims?
Oh, well, extremely older veterans, sometimes their records are difficult to find,
Mm,
the actual official records.
yeah.
But there's other ways of doing a claim,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's finding the unit history. You've got the DD 214, and maybe it says what unit they were on, maybe it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But once you file a VA claim, whether it's the veteran or the spouse, excuse me, the first thing VA does is reach out to the National Archives and to the branch of service
Mm-hmm.
and ask for that personnel file.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you have an award for your veteran on the wall, and you go, oh, well, he was in the 325th. This is the World War One Purple Heart, my grandfather's. And it says, for injuries received in the World War, 325th Infantry, Lieutenant Joseph Cook.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that he was part of the 325th Infantry. I went online and I did a bunch of research on 325th. I actually found a family had put their grandfather's daily diary up online. And my grandfather was born off the battlefield
Mm.
unconscious due to shrapnel injuries. So that's the kind of evidence VA can say, oh, yeah, well, A, he was a veteran. B, he was in combat. And the 325th Infantry, for the time period that he was in, that shows that he was in this location. So maybe there's a presumptive
Mm-hmm.
related to bad water there or whatever.
Right.
So there's alternative methods, or you can find someone they served with who can say, yeah, I watched him jump off the back of the deuce and a half and eat dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how he sprained his ankle,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
he tore up his knee or whatever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be the official record.
Right. Right.
So, but VA doesn't teach that kind of stuff.
No, they don't. And that's why we have to have platforms like this so you can come on and tell them. If your loved one has served, we can probably generate information on that individual. Doesn't matter when he served. We can probably go and find at least some type of record or information on that individual. Um, why do you think having these types of conversations, and I know we just touched on it, why are these conversations so important to you? I know they're important to you, Jane,
Oh,
because you always say
it,
yes. So I know they're important to you. So, but why do you
yeah.
believe this? Hmm.
Well, Word of mouth is a great way of getting information out there. I always tell people when I share my basic teaching tools, the
Mhm.
presumptive list, the article on pension, the spreadsheet that they can put in the numbers and it automatically does the math and tells them, yes, they're eligible, no, they're not eligible.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll be eligible because on pension, VA lets you look back a year expenses
Mhm.
or forward. So all of a sudden your veteran goes into assisted living and
Yeah.
he's got $100,000 worth of assets.
Mhm.
Well, he's qualified for pension based on these permanent future expenses.
Mhm. Yeah.
Last year, maybe he was healthy as all get out, but then he had a stroke.
Right.
So
Right.
always keep a relationship with the VSO. Don't miscount yourself as far as what you're eligible for.
Mhm.
But first, you have to arm yourself with the knowledge that these things exist.
Right. Right. That is
You know,
awesome. That is an awesome way to end the show. But here's what I want to do. Of course, we're going to have you back. Probably around, I'm thinking Veterans Day or something like that, where we can just talk about
absolutely.
benefits. So I'm going to pull myself out the camera. You say whatever, if it's something we didn't cover, whatever you want. Oh, I forgot. Yes, you guys. Look.
Yes,
Oh
I
my
am having my
goodness.
wonderful bourbon vanilla tea right now. It is wonderful. It really is. I like
Yeah.
combination teas. I don't like just, like
Uh-huh.
English breakfast tea or
Yeah.
I like to put in 3 or 4 different bags in my cup.
Yeah.
But in this case, you've already created the blend and it is wonderful.
Thank
So
you.
thank you
Yes,
very much.
that is our bourbon street vanilla vanilla street bourbon. What's the name? What's the correct title? You got it. Bourbon Street Vanilla, I
Bourbon
think it's.
Street vanilla.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really an excellent combination.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. And just representative, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about the teas. So the teas represent women who how they make an impact or show up in the world. It just so happens that Bourbon Street Vanilla Kenyatta Wellington is an Army veteran, and her story, she has a beautiful story. She does so much volunteer work. She runs the female vets in Illinois Facebook page, and it's always going with different volunteer opportunities. It's always going with just how people are feeling, and it's a place for us to pour into each other as sister vets. But the tea represents how women show up in the world. For instance, Blueberry.
Oh
Anna
yeah.
is a caregiver of her veteran husband. And so we have four different flavors. Actually, we're about to have five different flavors. That's a surprise. It's coming soon. But it just shows the impact that women make in the world who are not necessarily veterans. Of course, the coffee is exclusively for veterans because that was our survival. That's what we
Yeah.
fueled ourselves on, while most of us fueled ourselves on while serving. But the tea is for us to take a pause and be reflective. And it's for women and how they make an impact and show up in the world at large. So I just wanted to honor these women who show up. And you've got Bourbon Street Vanilla, awesome flavor. And if some people like, to add a little actual bourbon, because I've had people
Ooh,
add a little bourbon to that and say it tastes absolutely amazing. So yeah, you guys can go to Shero Coffee to get your Bourbon Street vanilla tea, which is represented by Army veteran and volunteer extraordinaire, Kenyatta Wellington. So thank you for that, Jane. I totally forgot all about it. I have to start remembering that because we definitely want to show you that our guests are enjoying the beverages, that they're real, and you can be a part of it too. But right now, I'm going to pull myself out of the camera and I'm going to let you say anything else you want to say if we didn't cover anything, because this is such an important topic. And if it took forever to get this information out there, I think the message should be told on every platform we can find. But I'll remove myself. Take as long as you want. Talk about whatever you want pertaining to survivor benefits, VSO, and we'll go from there. And then I'll come back in and we'll say our goodbyes. All right.
terrific. Thank you.
All right, here you go, Jane.
Hi, everybody. This is Memorial Day. We're getting ready to pay tribute to those who have left us because of their military service. Yes, we especially honor those who fell in battle or on duty. But we also have to keep in mind all the veterans who came home with injuries. Some of those injuries and or illnesses are not seeable, but they have left us because of them, whether it was suicide, whether it was Parkinson's due to a chemical exposure in service or whatever. Please, if you know the widow or widower of a veteran, please ask them to check in with their county, state, federal, organizational VSO. They may be entitled to benefits. Many times a veteran will pass away of something like ALS, and it wasn't on the list. Now, 8 years later, it was on the list. Well, if they don't check in every so often, they would never know they were entitled to benefits. And the VA has certain restrictions on some benefits where if a widow remarries prior to the age of 55, they lose the benefit, or they remarry and they're no longer financially as needy for the pension, but that second marriage ends, they're eligible to return to the VA benefits. So there's a lot of surviving spouses out there that aren't receiving benefits who are now no longer married again. They can go back to the benefits. Please check in with your VSO at least every 5 years. God bless you and thank you for those veterans out there and for those who love us enough to support us through our final days. Thank you very much. God bless.
Jane, Jane. Thank you so much. That was a powerful message. And like I said, it's always a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to have you on because we always get nuggets. We always get valuable information. And for our veterans, especially during this Memorial Day, as we reflect, as we show gratitude, as we, honor our loved ones, we have to remember the surviving spouses and the surviving families because it could be a
Yeah,
child, not necessarily a spouse. But for
exactly.
those surviving families, this again, you guys, is an important message. Make sure you look through this through its entirety. Go back because Jane gave a lot of information that you can use, especially if you're maybe a VSO, a new VSO, or a new CVSO. This is information you can use, and you can also always contact Jane on LinkedIn. Jane Babcock, just like it said, Jane Babcock. And it's no, you know how they have, more than one. So you would be Jane Babcock one. It's not like that. It's just Jane Babcock. You can reach her on LinkedIn. She's always available and she'll always get back to you. Jane, thanks again for just coming on the show, for giving us this valuable information. And we're going to end it right there. And as always, lift your cup up. All right. As always, we've got coffee for the grind and tea for the pause. And we want you guys to have a beautiful and blessed week. Share this video if it's brought in for valuable information to you. I will see you next week. Have a good one. Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Melissa, for everything you're doing.
All righty. See you guys next week. Bye.
Hey there, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this week's Shero Coffee Chat. Don't forget, smash that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. And hey, make sure your weekday begins with Shero Coffee, where we keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. You can visit us at sherocoffee.com. We'll see you next week right here on Shero Coffee Chat and have a blessed week.